Feel free to join in. This is a participating church. If it gets too quiet, I will think I bored you to sleep. So don't get too quiet. I want to talk to you this morning for a few minutes on the subject when faith is not enough. Anybody ever been in a time when you thought your faith was supposed to be shaken? You know how you've been taught all your life that your faith is supposed to be like a rock. Right? Your faith is supposed to be the strongest thing in your life. Anybody ever been in a position when all of a sudden your faith wasn't all that?
Amen.
Oh, see, y'all not real.
Amen.
You know, you really believe in faith and have faith until all of a sudden the doctor gives you a bad diagnosis. Where's your faith at now? Okay? Can I encourage you? Can I encourage you that there are times in life when faith just is not enough? Okay? Can I just rub this on you right now? Did you know that your faith is really not about you?
That's right.
Oh, Lord. See, your faith is not about you. Can I tell you, faith has one word that describes that, and that is relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, even in marriages, I don't have faith that my wife is going to stay. Okay, I don't have that faith. But our relationship is what lets me understand that she will. See, a lot of times we substitute the word faith for our relationship with God. See, you need to have a relationship so that when faith is not working for you, you know that God is still there anyway.
Yes.
Anybody ever been there, or am I just talking to myself, where you tried to encourage yourself because for some reason you didn't sense Him, you didn't feel Him, He wasn't answering you, and all of a sudden you didn't have that faith that you had, the faith you had on Sunday morning when the music was real good. Hallelujah, raise my hand. But all of a sudden you're caught in a situation where you don't even know God's here. Anybody ever been there?
Amen.
I've been in situations where I'm like, okay, where are you?
Yeah.
I know you said I'll never leave you. I know you said I'll never forsake you.
Yeah.
But I really can't feel you right now.
Come on.
And my faith just isn't really that strong. But you see, my walk is not about faith. My walk is about a relationship.
Right.
Yes.
Faith gets you to Jesus.
Yes.
Relationship maintains
Yes.
the walk.
Amen.
Is everybody okay?
Come on now, Pastor.
I just want to encourage you because a lot of times we go through situations in our life where we get accused by the enemy because our faith doesn't seem to be what it is supposed to be. You know, people think that because, you're a preacher, you're a pastor, you got wonderful faith. No, not every day.
Come on now, make it clear.
Not every day.
Come on.
I can tell you there are times in my life where I'm like, where
Come
is
on.
that faith? And I have to understand, it's not really about that. It's about relationship.
Exactly.
Because if I don't understand that I have to walk in a relationship with God that brings His closeness to me, I am always going to drift in one direction or another in the middle of a difficulty where all of a sudden everything I learned on Sunday morning just ain't working. All the verses I quoted, they just ain't working neither. So if I'm not careful, the enemy comes in and says, where is your faith?
Come on.
Right.
Yes.
And you have to tell them, can I tell you something I learned on Sunday morning? It's not about faith, it's about relationship.
Come on.
I don't need to just believe something, I need to know something.
Right.
See, because my wife and I have a good relationship, I don't believe she loves me, I know she loves me. I didn't get that by faith.
Amen.
I got that by relationship. Okay?
Yes.
That's just the intro.
Come on. You gotta know that you
I
know.
want to read, let's go to 1 Kings chapter 19 because I got to read some scripture. Otherwise, y'all think I'm, preaching some kind of, some kind of something. Okay, I want to read this pretty quick. 1 Kings chapter 19 is a very familiar scripture. Ahab told his wife Jezebel what Elijah had done and that he had killed the prophets. Oh, it wasn't Elijah wonderful? Man, he was the most powerful guy. Everybody was coming to him. He was at the top of the world. He was doing book signings down at Barnes and Nobles. His Instagram was like 10 million. Facebook, everybody liked him. Things was just going wonderful. Faith was outstanding. Boy, Elijah was at the top of the game, baby. He's calling down fire. He's making it not rain. He's making it rain. Boy, he has really got it going on, right? No, not really. So Jezebel sends a message to Mr. Wonderful.
Come on.
Mr. Call down fire. Mr. Kill all the prophets of Baal. Mr. You got everything going on. Everybody loves you. Everybody likes all your tweets. Everybody's retweeting everything that you say. So she sends a message to Elijah. You killed my prophets. Now I'm going to kill you. I pray that the gods will punish me even more severely if I don't do it by this time tomorrow. Mr. Wonderful stood up and screamed in her face and called her down and talked about faith. No, he didn't. Elijah was afraid. Elijah, where is your faith? Just because you got threatened? Come on now. I thought you were stronger than that. Didn't God just tell you to call down fire? I mean, you called down fire and you had faith that the fire would come, and the fire came, right? Yeah, it sure did. And not only did it come down, but it cleaned up all the water, it consumed the sacrifice, right? Yeah. And didn't you, one person, kill 450 false prophets? Yeah, I did. Where is your faith now?
Come on.
Oh. So it's not about faith. So it's really about relationship. Can I tell you, relationships are hard to move, but faith is easy to contest. Because faith is something that you just believe in. If you have faith that the house you live in is your house, I could somehow convince you, I could get over there, paint it, put up a fence, plant a garden, and take you down the street and convince you that is not your house. And eventually you'd go, sure don't look like my house. But if you have a relationship, you can paint it, baby. You can put a garden out there. You can get fat. You can get skinny. You can lose your hair. But relationship lets you know that this thing is a real thing.
Come on. Yes.
Okay. All right. Y'all quiet, man.
Come on, Pastor.
Sometimes it's good to quiet. Maybe you think it. Elijah was afraid when he got her message, and he ran out of town.
Yes.
Lord have mercy. Where is your faith, Elijah? All the things that you've been doing, you've been talking about God, and you've been prophesying about God, and you've been doing all these wonderful things, and you've been pulling down Baal, and you've been casting out, and you've been telling the sun to stay back, and you've been telling the clouds to rain, and you've been telling the clouds not to rain, and oh my God, where's your faith, and where are you going? See, I just want to encourage you that sometimes you're going to run.
Right.
Sometimes in the middle of difficulty, what you thought was the anchor really isn't the anchor at all. Because what we have been taught is that it's all about faith.
Right.
And we're never taught that it's really about relationship. How am I going to understand my wife if I just believe she's my wife? If I don't have a relationship with her, and sometimes she knows what I'm thinking before I think it.
Right.
Okay? Sometimes she finishes my sentence before I get there. Do you think that came by faith? No, that came by relationship. She'd sometimes know when I'm in a good mood or I'm in a bad mood. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm the same way. I know that all about her too. But I'm just saying that it's about relationship that causes us to understand that we're going to be there for each other through the top, through the heights, and through the depths, and in the middle. It's all about, see, you're not going to hang out with God if all you rely on is your faith every day.
Come on.
Oh,
Come on,
I
Pastor.
thought this was church. This is
Come
church.
on.
But I'm just trying to get you to the reality of when you leave here today and you're encouraged, can I tell you, hell is plotting your Monday.
Right.
Hell is going to find a way on Monday, if not Monday, by Wednesday, to test your faith.
Come on. Yes.
And you might even run because someone threatens you. See, just because somebody talks bad about you on Facebook ain't the reason for you to close it down.
Come on.
Just because somebody don't like your tweet, don't get off of Twitter. Because a lot of times what happens to us is we try to do things based on what other people say about us. And here we have Elijah, the most popular guy in the land, and one woman goes on Instagram and sends him a bad message, and he heads out of town immediately. Can I tell you, you're always going to have haters. And the reason you have them is to show up at the appropriate time in your life to cause your faith to be shaken. And if you live by that thing only, they're going to be able to shake you on a daily basis. And if you live by relationship, it doesn't make any difference what people have to say about it, because relationships aren't shaken. You can tell me all day long you saw my wife somewhere at coffee with somebody, and my relationship will tell you, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know where you are, you don't even know what my wife looks like, because I'm not going to go live my life through believing that she won't. My relationship says that she won't. And see, this is where it really gets hairy for you. See, if your faith is causing you to be up and down, my question is, where is your relationship? If you're always like this, your relationship is like this. If you can't find an even core or an even place, then your relationship is somehow got out of kilter and out of order, and you don't need to work on your faith. You need to work on your relationship.
Right. Right.
Oh, ain't this good?
Come on now.
I'm telling you, I just came to knock on the front door. If you don't come to the door, I'm ringing the doorbell. If you don't come to the door, I'm coming to the back door. Because I'm coming to talk to you today to try to encourage you that you're not always going to be a rock.
Right.
And it's okay. God doesn't expect you to be a rock. In fact, when Elijah runs, God shows up and says, Elijah, what are you doing here? That didn't surprise God. Do you think God was surprised that Elijah ran? No. What he was surprised that Elijah didn't understand that it wasn't about faith, it was about relationship.
Right.
What he was surprised is, Elijah, how in the world do you talk about me to everybody, and then you don't even understand that I was there when you got the bad message, I was there when you decided, do I stay or do I run, I was there when you ran, I never left you, but it was that faith thing that you've been relying on that made you feel like you were all by yourself. Elijah, what happened to our relationship?
Come on.
That's right.
I thought you loved me. Why didn't you run? Have I ever failed you? No, what happened is one person shook your faith and put our relationship out of balance. And I just came to show up on the mountainside, Elijah, to show myself to you. So that our did you know you are not looking for a relationship with God, but He's looking for you?
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, how is that? Lo, I stand at the door, and you didn't come to find me. I came to find you.
Come on.
And when our relationship gets out of kilter, I already know how y'all are. So I'm the one chasing you down to show myself strong in the moment of your weakness. You know, Paul said, I have learned something, that when I am weak, I am strong. And because in the middle of my weakness, I understand that He shows up in my weakness and He puts our relationship back into balance. And now I can do what He called me to do because I'm not walking by something I believe. I'm walking by something I know, because I can believe a lot of stuff. But the one thing I know is relationship.
Come on.
Oh, see, if that's not bad enough, let's go to Matthew chapter 14, verse 22. Everybody still with me?
Yes.
What happens when your faith fails you? What do you do? Can I tell you, you're not down and out when your faith fails. You're not going to be cast away. God didn't eliminate you. See, the enemy wants to tell you what happened to your faith.
Yeah.
Because he's not, can I tell you something? The devil is not after your faith. He ain't after you. What he's after is the relationship that you have with God, because he used to have it and now he don't have it. So don't get confused if you think he's trying to shake your ability to know who God is. He's trying to shake your relationship with the individual that you know. So if he can shake your relationship, you can somehow get over into faith, and he can shake your faith all day long by telling you, where is your God now?
That's right. Question.
I need to be able to look and say, I might not see him, I might not feel him, but I can tell you something about relationship. It's right here. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't been nowhere. Now my faith might make me think he's not around, but I can tell you my relationship lets me know that when I don't feel him, I know.
Come on now, yes.
I can get up and go to another room in the house. I don't believe my wife is in the living room. My relationship lets me know that's where she's at, even though I don't sense her presence.
Right, come on.
Oh, see, but we've been taught, we have to sense the presence of God. I have chill bumps in it. Really? I want to tell you something. Chill bumps are very seldom. Are you hearing me? Now, I've been walking with God for a long, long time. But my chill bumps, they ain't been that many.
Right.
Why? God can give you chill bumps when He wants to, but what He's trying to get you to do is work yourself into a relationship where you don't need chill bumps.
Come on. That's right. Yes.
Oh, we got 14 conferences on gold falling from the sky and all that. Really? We need a conference on relationship. What do I do when it don't look good? I prayed all day. I fasted for 21 days. I lost 14 pounds and I still can't feel God. Really?
Amen.
It ain't about feeling. It's about relationship.
Relation. Yes, sir.
Amen.
Matthew 14, verse 22. Jesus has just fed the 5,000. And so He sends the disciples to go to the other side. And they're in the middle of a storm on the Sea of Galilee. Now, the thing that always confused me about this story was most of these people on this boat are from this immediate area. This is not their first time on this sea. They know that it is at a sea level, so that the wind coming off of the surrounding mountains is always creating a storm on that sea. Can I tell you something? You are living at a level that your life is going to get storms. I don't know who told you when you got saved storms were gone. But they lied to you.
Yes, they did.
When you got saved, baby, you just got to recognize the storm now. And guess what? Now they're a lot more frequent because you know what they are.
Come on.
Are you hearing? But they should not surprise you because you've been on this same voyage for a long time. So why does a storm or a shaking surprise you? Because you've been living. You know why it surprises you? Because you're living by faith and not relationship.
Come on. Yes.
Now, don't go off telling everybody, you know, that preacher, he preached against faith. I'm not saying that. You got to have faith to know that he can save you. But can I tell you this? Once you are saved, faith goes over here and relationship becomes the center.
Right. Right.
See, when you have faith that somebody loves you. Then when you get married, that faith ain't going to sustain you. The relationship is supposed to sustain you.
That's right.
If I went by faith, there's some days I'm not really sure my wife loves me. Because contrary to your belief, I'm not always lovable.
That's right.
Come on now.
I don't always glow when you cut the light out.
Come on now.
I don't float around the room like Tinkerbell. So I don't live by faith. I live based on my relationship with her. And we need to teach folk that you're going to go through storms and you're going to go through difficulty. And just because you're afraid of the storm or it shakes you a little bit does not mean that you're not loved, does not mean that God is absent from the equation. What it means is the storm doesn't come to, listen to me now, the storm does not come to increase your faith. It comes to strengthen your relationship.
Come on. Yes.
That's good.
Amen.
If you don't have some resistance, you ain't never going to get stronger.
That's right.
Right.
You don't believe that? Go down to the gym, buy a membership, and just get you a latte and go sit down every day.
That's your job.
You'll find out ain't nothing happened to you but that latte put on some weight and you paying for that gym every month.
Yep.
You got to have some resistance in order to understand your relationship with going to the gym.
That's right.
Right.
I go to the gym, I already know it ain't fun.
Right.
Amen.
Are you hearing me? It ain't, if you got a trainer, it really ain't fun because he don't really care about where you've been, what you've been going through. This is all about a relationship with what you committed to. See, we commit to things, and then we start trying to live by faith, and then we start trying to convince ourselves. The enemy comes along and convinces ourselves, well, I don't know where your faith is. Because if you had faith in the size of a grain of mustard seed, God would show up. He ain't never left.
Right.
But your relationship doesn't allow you to sense His presence all the time.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because you're living by, I hope He's here.
Come on. Yes. Come on, Pastor.
Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that His disciples get back into the boat and cross to the other. Isn't it amazing? Jesus knows there's a storm coming. He knows they're fraidy cats. He knows they're scared to death, and He still puts them in a boat. You know, God will put you in a boat and send you out in the middle of a storm when He knows that you're going to be scared to death when you get there, because He's trying to get you to understand something, that you don't need to just believe I'm here. If you have a relationship with me, the storm won't really bother you that much.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
I just came by to tell you,
right.
if you're in the middle of the storm and you just can't feel it, it's okay. You still saved.
Amen.
Oh, you hear me? The storm's just here to convince you of a relationship. Where is it?
Yeah.
Come on.
Where is it? There are days that my wife and I, we've been married for a while, but there are days that there are storms. And when you have kids, baby, sometimes they're like hurricanes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And then when you have kids and grandkids, man, they're like
Tornadoes.
babies. I'm trying to tell you right now.
Another harvest.
Okay? But they come in your life to reconfirm your relationship. I told my wife the other day, I said, isn't it funny? We started out by ourselves, and we're going to end up by ourselves.
Amen.
My Lord.
And the road all along the way hasn't increased my faith in you, not one iota.
My.
But it has increased my relationship.
Yes. Yes.
When we thought that these kids, we should just go get on a plane and go somewhere, we stuck it out.
Amen.
My Jesus.
When they made us try to believe that we didn't even love each other. You know, kids can make you like,
Uh-huh.
They don't love one another.
yeah. But it's the relationship
Yeah.
that maintains the course.
That's right.
It's not the faith. It's my relationship. So Jesus, let me hurry up. Jesus sends them out on the lake.
Yeah.
After sending them home, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble. I know they were. Because they were walking by faith and not by relationship.
Go on.
Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble far away from land. For a strong wind had risen and they were frightened by the heavy waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them. He don't ever come on time, does he?
No.
Your storm started at midnight, it's 3 o'clock and he still ain't here. Because like you praying and you fasting and you prostrate on the floor and ain't nothing happened yet. And you're like, well, no. And the devil shows up and goes, where's your faith now? Where's your God now? See, if you live like that all your life, you're going to be knocked around in the storms of life, and you're not going to know what to happen, and you're going to think you have come to the end of the road, when in reality, all this thing came to do to you was to give you a checkup from the neck up on your relationship with the one that you say that you believe in so much.
Come on. Yes.
You ain't never going to really have a relationship until you have a storm.
Right. Right.
All right, see.
Yes.
Only Sister B's had one. The rest of y'all got immune. Verse 26, when the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified. In their fear, they cried out, it's a ghost. Baby, are you kidding me? It's a ghost out here.
Yeah.
Where is your faith? The 12 of y'all just got through feeding 5,000, and all y'all had was a Happy Meal from McDonald's.
Amen. Come on.
My.
Let's go.
All of a sudden, it ain't even been 12 hours yet, and your faith is gone.
Come on.
Wow.
Where's your relationship?
Yeah.
See, those of us who walk only by faith, our relationship is only as strong as our last miracle.
Come on. Yes.
That's why you're looking for one all the time. Because that's how your faith is. You think it's only built in a miracle, but in reality, it's your relationship that's built in a storm. So that you can actually see and understand what a miracle looks like.
Right.
Right.
My wife is still with me after all these years. I used to be good looking, had a nice little curly afro.
My God.
Now I ain't got no hair.
Jesus.
And relationship kept her, baby.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about she ain't aged a bit.
That don't like that.
And I'm the lucky one. That's why I'm working real hard on this
You gotta work
relationship.
hard. You're gonna keep quit.
So your challenge is always going to be, your challenge of your faith is always going to come in a storm.
Yes, sir.
It's always going to come in a storm. But storms do not come to increase your faith. They come to increase your relationship.
Yeah.
If you don't have a storm, you're never going to know that you can rely on somebody. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
You don't really know that your roof don't leak until it rains.
Right.
That's right.
Okay? If the sun's out, baby, you don't even have a clue. But you got to go through a storm to find out how you really are. And so Jesus walks on the water. Here's Peter. He found his faith. If that's you, really? What kind of faith is this? See, we look at Peter. Oh, Peter had faith. He stepped out of the boat. No, he did not.
Scared.
He was scared to death, and he wasn't even sure that was him.
Right.
Because he said, if that's you,
Yeah.
Yes.
let me come to you.
Listen,
But the faith to get out of the boat did not reside in Peter. It came out of Jesus reestablishing the relationship.
Right.
And because of the see, Peter didn't get out of the boat because Jesus was out there. He got out of the boat based on his past experiences with him.
Yeah.
If that's really him and he's walking on the water, I can do what he can do. Why is that? Because I've been doing what he does because of my relationship with him. So I'm going to get out of the boat. Ain't got nothing to do with my faith that I won't sink. It's got to do with my understanding of my relationship. And as long as I maintain my relationship, there can be a storm all around me, and it cannot consume me. It cannot take me. It can't take me out. Nothing can happen in my relationship if I'm maintaining a wholesome, good relationship with him. I can get out. I don't need faith to get out of the boat. I just need a good relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, Pastor.
Relation. That's it.
I just need a good. So Peter gets out of the boat. We all know the story. Take about 3 or 4 steps. You know the other 11, they're in the boat that's tilted this way. Because all of them are over here watching. And ain't nobody sitting on that side.
Come on.
Okay? They're all over here. The other 11 are like this. He gonna sink. You know, you always got encouragers. Yeah.
Come on.
Can I tell you, ain't nobody going to encourage your relationship. Are you hearing me? Very few folks are going to say, can I tell you something? This storm came into your life so that you could make your relationship stronger with God Almighty. No, they come in your life and tell you, I got your back. Really? The 11 didn't have Peter's back. They would have got out of the boat too.
Right.
Baby, if you go down, we go down. I have people tell me that all the time. No matter what happens, I'm here. I step out in a relationship, and I'm like, where'd all them folks go?
Right.
Oh, there they are. They about to drown because they're looking at me. Hanging on one side. And then Peter walks on the water. Then all of a sudden, he forgets the strength of the relationship.
Amen. Right.
And he looks at the storm that's here, not to shake his faith. Because guess what? He knows that's Jesus.
Right.
So if it was by faith, how come he sank? If he was walking by faith and that was Jesus, why did he sink?
Yeah.
Sometimes your faith ain't enough.
Ain't working so.
Sometimes it ain't working for you. So you got to rely on relationship. Can I tell you, relationship is tougher than faith.
Oh, yes.
Because I can have faith and blame you. But it's real hard to blame relationship. Because either you did or you didn't. It's pretty simple. Faith is one of those things you just kind of throw up in the air and see how it falls.
Come on.
It's all about relationships. So Peter looks and he goes, man, I really need to strengthen my relationship. And like every other time, when faith fails, God always shows up.
Right.
Peter, give me a hand. I ain't mad at you. I ain't going to whoop you. I ain't going to leave you. But what I'm here to tell you is this, Peter, that this is about relationship. And as soon as you know that I'm always here for you, you won't need that faith thing anymore because you will have established a relationship with me.
That's right.
Because nobody can tell you I'm not going to be here.
That's right.
Nobody can tell you I won't be here. Nobody can convince you that I'm ever going to leave you. Because our relationship will make you walk across the water of your storms in your life all the time. Because you know I'm always here. And I'm never going to put more on you than you.
Come on.
Anybody ever been told that? The Lord won't put more on you can have. You're like, I wish He didn't trust me so much today. No, what He's trying to say is this. I'm not going to put more on you than you can handle, and I'm always going to give you an exit because I'm the exit.
Come on.
That's right.
And if you have a good relationship with me, you know you can get out of your problem. All you got to do is come to the exit.
Come on.
But if you living by faith, you ain't never finding this exit. But a relationship tells you, hey, the storm can be really bad and really ugly, but I ain't going nowhere. See, the thing I learned about my relationship with my wife is we've had ups and downs along all these years, but I have never wondered, will she leave? Why? Because of relationship.
Yeah.
Relationship. I didn't say it was pretty every day.
No.
And there's some days I need to go in the garage, or some days she tells me to go out there.
Doghouse.
There's some days that she just leave me watching TV. I'm like,
Doghouse.
wow.
Right.
But I didn't go look at the key and see she left.
Doghouse.
Why? Because I'm not living by a belief that she'll stay. I'm living in a relationship.
Right.
And relationships, guess what? Have ups and downs. Your relationship with God is not going to always be like this.
Right. Right.
Oh, how surprising. There are days that you're going to go, hello, where are you?
Yes, Lord.
Where are you? It's okay. I just came to encourage you. Those days are okay. Don't get caught up. Don't get cast away.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in the storm. It's okay to say, you know what? I really need to work on this relationship thing. Because I know you're here,
That's it.
but I just can't sense it. See, when I have a relationship, I don't need to sense anything.
That's right.
It's something I know.
That's right. Amen.
Faith is not about us at all.
That's right.
Faith is about God.
Right.
Faith is about the God who created us. Faith is about the God who calls us and redeems us. Faith is about the God who walks with us in the middle of the dangers and the storms and the fears in our life. Faith is about learning that God will never fail us,
Right.
and He will never forsake us. See, the truly unusual part of the stories that we discussed this morning is this: Elijah and Peter. It's not their fears or their doubts, because in the stories we're looking to analyze the wrong person. When we look at Elijah and Elijah running, it's not about Elijah at all. When we look at Peter and Peter getting out of the boat, the story is not... See, we get confused. The story is not about the characters in trouble. It's about the one that rescues them.
Right.
See, your troubles are not about you. They're about Him. Troubles don't come in your life to make you stronger. They come in your life to make your relationship with Him stronger. See, we get this unbelievable teaching that troubles come to make me stronger. No, it does in a sense, but in reality, it comes to make your relationship with Him. The troubles in your life, you are not the main character. The main character is Him. See, you're making it all about you. That's why you stay there for a long time. You ever notice your troubles have really got you down? All of a sudden you abandon you when God shows up. Where'd He come from? He was always there. But the problem is your relationship was messed up.
Yeah.
So you didn't sense it. Why? Because your problem was all about you. Oh, Lord, help me out. He's like, you ain't getting it. Lord, please show up. You ain't getting it.
Good.
Lord, I just wish you'd do something. You ain't getting it. Lord, it's only you. You're right. It wasn't about you. See, can I tell you something? God is a very self-centered God. Everything is really all about Him.
Right.
It ain't about you. He created the sun and the stars not so you could look at them. He created them for His glory.
Right.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Come on,
He didn't
yes.
create you for you. He created you for His pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why don't you be the center of every star